Hey. Hi, I'm Tammy Hall. I'm the Director of Marketing, and I also oversee our service division for CFS Roofing and Mechanical Services. We're a relatively large company. We have commercial, residential, sheet metal, and then mechanical division as well. We have approximately 250 employees, and we're running right now at about 45 million a year. We just started our mechanical division, but business development, account management, those are all critically important. We've been very fortunate. David Crowther, who's our owner, started CFS Roofing about 11 years ago, and we've seen significant growth each year, and a lot of that's due to our sales efforts. We actually heard about Followup at FRSA convention. Greg Wallach and at the time another salesperson were doing demonstrations. So we walked by the booth, and of course Greg's personality just pulled us in and said, you guys have to do this. This is a must. This isn't an option. If you want to really understand your sales and you want to have a targeted sales effort that has accountability, that you can track, that you know what your people are doing and it's not ambiguous, then this is the CRM for you. And I was excited because coming on wearing the marketing hat, I got thrown into the service division. So my time was extremely split. I was not allowed to focus full time on sales. So anything that was going to help me be able to track our efforts was going to be critical. So fortunately, David, who knew Greg very well, believed in the program. So I think we were one of the original signer-uppers for Followup. It's a really huge time saver, but it also keeps everybody honest to do their jobs.
Yeah.
I'm sure many businesses put their salespeople on incentives or end-of-the-year bonuses or quarterly bonuses. What they say because they're salespeople and what they do are not always the same thing. Mm-hmm. So this is very much the proof is in the pudding, and it's right there for us. I love the dashboards where I can go in, and I just had a conversation with, on the service side, we call our estimators account managers because they actually do a little bit more than just estimate. So I just had a meeting with my account managers and reminded them, you guys got to clean this up. It's got to be ready at the end of the year. I can see where they were slacking a little bit in December. So these are all nice conversations. I don't have to wake up one morning and find out that there's 100 jobs that haven't been followed up on. We can look at this every week. We can look at it, continually so that we're very timely. Our business, we really don't advertise. Our business is 90% referrals. So Followup becomes such an important tool for us in that we need to be sure that we're touching our customers continually, whether all the way through our process. And Followup gives us those mechanisms to put those dates in so nothing's falling between the cracks. And we love it for that. Well, obviously the due dates, the bid due dates, when the estimates are due. But number two, the follow-up. I mean, we've got to reach out to these folks. When you're pumping out as many bids as we are and the volume that we're pumping out, anything that's not followed up, I might as well put all of that dollar volume in the middle of the table and just light a match, because that's all money we're losing. Yeah. So Followup really helps us bring up those closing ratios. It really helps us manage specifically, why did we lose a bid? We know where we need to be. We're constantly adjusting. And the other thing that I really love about Followup, where it helps us because of the estimating and the following through, is that it shows us how nimble we have to be. This last 2 years with COVID, now supply chain issues, if you're not a company that can, jive left and right on a continually basis, you're going to be in trouble. And we didn't work this hard to get this far, not to be nimble. And we are very thankful that we have Followup as a secondary sales tool for us to use, because it does keep us very much on track. The closing ratio. The closing ratios have gone up significantly since we've had Followup. And part of that, I believe, even with children or especially salespeople, they get distracted easily. They're very flamboyant. They're very gregarious individuals. To have a structure where they know in the morning, the first thing they do is check their dashboards. They look at what they've got to do for the day. Then they hit that. Followup allows them to have a structure that's not overwhelming, but keeps them very focused. And because of that, the closing ratio goes up. They know when those bids are due. They know when they have to make that phone call. When they don't make the phone call and I see it, it's like, what's going on? Yeah. I have everyone in our division has a backup. So if they're out sick or they're on vacation, there's someone who jumps in on their follow-up as their backup so that nothing falls. We're not waiting 2 weeks because someone went on vacation to follow up. So we have all of those catch and balances in place. It took us a while to really understand how critical that was, because obviously that salesperson or that business development or that account manager has the relationship with the customer. But when we look at the front side of our business and the matrix of being able to look at those follow-ups, that's so critical to how we then proceed through to production and then as we close out. And so we track that follow through all the way through in follow-up so that account manager estimate can actually then come back after the job is done, talk to them about their experience, but more importantly, do you have any leads for me? And so our program, so I have to say the number one thing for us is those follow-up dates. Yeah, we're just constantly using them. And that I get a bigger return on follow-up than I do on any ads I would place or any other form of advertising I would use. Yeah. Everything's in one place. I don't have to be reading 1,000 notes. I literally can go on the dashboard. I can look right on the front on the homepage, pull up any one of my estimators, account managers, business development, and see exactly what they're doing. I can see what they've gotten done for the month. I can see what they've got done for the year. I can track their closing ratios. I can see how many times they've been in follow-up. Are they following their sales behaviors? It's just tremendous. I mean, I can get through everybody in an hour if I want to just get a quick glance. It also, gives me an opportunity to red flag, who do I need to work more with? Why are their dashboards so red? What's causing them to fall behind, especially when we're slow. The service division obviously is very cyclical to rain and the seasons. And so when I see my account managers have a lot of red on their dashboards, I can immediately call them in and say, what's going on? You've got 15 that you haven't followed up on that are over a day old. We don't want that to go 7 days or 8 days, but I can tell immediately what's going on with that. Where before I'd have to click on every single job in Data Forma to be able to see that. Follow-up just gives me everything that's assigned to them on one page. And then I can dive deeper if I want to. So it gives me that great big overview right away. And then the potential to just, again, get the more detailed information if I need to go that deep. Every business has their style, but at the end of the day, we're in business to make money. We're in business to make sure our employees have jobs and they can feed their families, and everybody loves a raise. And if you want to get there faster, then follow-up is going to be the answer for you, especially if you don't have a strong, if you're just starting to get into sales and you're not, and someone's multitasking in that division. It's a tool that makes everything so much more efficient. It's a tool because it's cloud-based. The owner of the company can log in and at least see the front page. That home page has a tremendous amount of information. And I believe that it keeps you on track to not wait for accounting to tell you where you're at. You can actually see where your sales are. And after a year, you start to know, what do you have to bid to hit these numbers? Your salespeople, what is your estimator? I've got an estimator that he has to write 80 million to be able to close, 30 million. You begin to see their trends on what works for them and what doesn't work for them. And so again, it's so helpful in structuring and fine tuning. The longer you use it, the better it gets and the more meaningful it becomes. The salespeople really pushed against it when they saw it. They're like, oh my God, another thing we have to do. But now every single one of them can't imagine life without it. And I think it's that structure, because if I'm going to get an incentive that's going to be based on my performance, I want to perform. And then there's no excuse for you not performing. When I have to do evaluations, I know exactly where they're at. And that they're not clueless. They know exactly where they're at. It's really hard to cheat in follow-up. Yeah, and most of my salespeople don't want to. They want to succeed. They want to be rock stars. We have a little competition that goes on every month. So, because we base it on percentage, so everyone kind of looks and sees who's highlighted this month, who was the winner this month.
Yeah.
Because we base it on their percentages, and so that keeps things a little fun, a little competitive. You know, we all have that little competitive spirit in us. But I don't know. Follow-up at the end of the day is just a tool that keeps you on track. It will tell you immediately if someone needs to stay in sales or maybe they need to slide over somewhere else. It tells you who your strong people are, who your weaker links are, but more importantly, it tells you what's in your pipeline. If you've got a strong pipeline, especially in this day and age, then you know you've got a good month coming up, you've got a good year coming up. It's got so much information from a business standpoint of, what can we do as we look forward and we try to forecast. You can forecast based on your earned revenues, which we do as well. And you can also forecast on your sales. I think sales have always been a little more ambiguous. Follow-up kind of brings that ambiguity to basically, these are the facts.
Yeah.
It's right there in black and white. And so when you're forecasting sales, which we just went through this process 2 weeks ago, Follow-up was right there as we looked at each estimator and what we want them to, their sales goals are going to be, how we set up their incentives, because we want them to earn their incentives. We don't want to make it impossible. So we try to tweak that so that it's their realistic goals and not just pie in the sky goals.
Yeah.
So I believe Follow-up's a strong business tool on the front end because you have to have a sale before you can have a contract.
Right.
And not getting sales, you don't have contracts. You don't have contracts, you don't have earned income. You don't have earned income, you don't have a company.
Exactly.
So why would you start off weak? If you've got a great operations crew, why wouldn't you have a great sales crew? Really appreciate the technical support we get from you guys. The meetings, every quarter with my account manager, an update. If we have a glitch in the system, you guys are very quick to respond to it. And we love that you're constantly evolving and that you're adding more. One of the things as our main operations CRM continues to expand, they're constantly saying to us, well, why don't you come over to our sales tool? We can do all of that, but not really. And so we don't mind having the two CRMs in the sense that we really love the fact that this is so focused on sales that it's not confusing. And so you guys have done an awesome job recognizing the side of the marketing and the sales side. Everybody hates to spend money on sales, even though they look at it as a must rather than, it should be fun. It shouldn't be so painful. And I think Follow-up, because of its accountability, is easier for owners who are not salespeople a lot of times to say, yeah, I need to spend this money. I need to be able to give my team the support they need. But more importantly, I need to know that the people I've hired are actually doing their jobs and they really can't make up excuses. So, when I'm talking to other roofers, whether I'm at NRCA board meetings or FRSA, I serve on both those boards, and they ask me, why do you use Follow-up? Because why wouldn't I?
Right.
I could spend $500,000 on radio ads. I could spend a fraction of that and just have great people and invest in humans to actually go out there and speak to our customers and actually have our, the rubber hit the road.
Yeah.
This is who we are. This is our culture. And we're not looking for necessarily automation to handle you. Someone answers our phone, we're going to come out and see you, and then we're going to call you when the job is done and make sure you're happy. And then we want you to recommend 3 people we can call on.
Yeah.
And it works.